people are than I thought would be here.
Name and what town you're from inside the county, so we have that for record.
You know, we got their way, I figured it'd be cleaned out, it wasn't, it is, like full through. I just ordered
Finally got here, problem with dinner. Got started late, so we're still late. So I welcome everyone out here, and I want to
Fillmore County Board of Supervisors. As residents of Geneva and Fillmore County, we would first like to commend you on the new Fillmore County Hospital. It is a wonderful addition to our county and it fills the need of health care for young and life. Having said that, we realize the Fillmore County Board of Supervisors has been in a quandary as to what to do with the old hospital. We would like to propose the following ideas for you to consider. Some I'm certain you have already heard or thought of yourselves. In 2010, a committee selected an architectural firm and worked on the Geneva Senior Center feasibility study for the city of Geneva. At that time, many issues and options were discussed. Buildings were considered, community meetings were held, etc. At present, nothing has changed and everything has continued status quo for this outdated, non-compliant center. At one of those community meetings, those in attendance were asked to vote for what building they thought would best suit the needs of the replacement senior center. The vote was overwhelmingly in favor of the old hospital. We would like to see that idea develop not just as a senior center, but also a community center called Generations. A warm, inviting, and functional facility that would take care of the needs of our seniors, our youth, and everyone in between. The current recreation center located in what is known as the South Side is less than a warm and inviting place for our most valuable assets, our children. And we all know the limitations of the present senior center. The new community center, Generation, could be rented out to groups, families, or anyone needing a place to meet countywide. Possibly, community education classes could be held at the center along with Southeast Community College classes or any other college that would like to establish a post-secondary education program. We also realize that with everything there is a price tag. We don't have answers for funding for this community center, remodeling, or day-to-day operations. It's something that would need to be researched by visiting other communities or contacting the state of Nebraska for possible funding. We feel the opportunities are there for a large variety of uses for the old hospital. They just need to be nurtured and developed. It's not only a chance to find a use for the building, but an opportunity for our county to create a facility functional and multi-purpose. Please consider these ideas and grow Nebraska beginning with Fillmore County. Sincerely, and then all of them that signed it. Thank you.
Got anybody else? Gary?
Yeah. I too was asked to speak by several people. And they gave me their ideas, and I did a little bit of research. I'm working with Paul Newmark. Paul wanted me to let you know that he couldn't be here today because he's on his way to the conference. He wanted you to know that he wants to be kept in the loop, and if there's something the hospital can do, they sure will do it. Some of the ideas people have been bringing forward is the dialysis center. We know we have a few people on dialysis in Fillmore County. After doing some research, it takes about 20 people on dialysis to make a clinic work. Talked to Paul on the phone. He said that they're in the process of working on this. Finding out from other rural hospitals, the conference that he's going to today, to see how those rural hospitals provide dialysis like that, and how they make it work in their facility. The thing that he did tell me is it's not only equipment, but they have to have specially trained personnel and those kinds of things. But that was one of the ideas to put in the old hospital. The other thing he wanted me to make everybody aware of is doing things off-site. You know, they built a hospital, a new hospital, so it was large enough to accommodate some new healthcare services, because there's trouble when you try to bill for doing things off-site with Medicare and Medicaid and that kind of stuff. So you're real limited on that. The other idea that was brought forward was a sleep study, and right now people are traveling outside the county. And once again, Paul stepped up and said they had just purchased their equipment for a sleep study, $40,000 worth, and hired the technician. So they will be conducting a sleep study test at the Fillmore County Hospital now. So that's in the works. We started. He did say it needs to be promoted more, because I don't think everybody's aware. We had the one person in my office came in just a month ago and had to go to an interview. So it's really new, and what was a holdup after the equipment was finding the right technical staff. One of the other ideas was a health education center, public health information center, where they could hold more regular classes on diabetes, COPD, and parenting classes. Right now, I know the hospital offers the mods, but it's kind of maybe once, twice a year. It's not real steady. So to get those classes, have them somewhere where they can be given on a regular basis. The other idea was to move the weight clinic from Meadows Hall to the hospital, the old hospital, to provide the kids their shots. There is a need. I mean, it's great that the church allows them to do it there, but there's some of the WIC. I guess there's some counseling that needs to be done on a one-to-one basis, and it's hard to do in a big room. That was one of their ideas. Seeing if there was anybody that would be interested in opening the old hospital as an Alzheimer's dementia unit. We have a need in Fillmore County. We don't have, none of the facilities, the nursing homes in our area are capable of providing that kind of service. So when somebody reaches that Alzheimer's dementia level, they have to be sent to Hebron, Seward, Hastings, Lincoln, and so on. We didn't know if there was somebody that's already providing that service somewhere would come and look at the facility and maybe think that that would be a deal that they could do. The other one that we had down was the Senior Center, Youth Center, Fitness Center combination. I think Brenda did an excellent job on bringing that to the forefront. I know that there's quite a few things to work out with that, but it would be a good fit, I think. The other one, the last one that they had was a service center, kind of a one-stop shop place where anybody that provides services in Fillmore County can be located in one part of the hospital. So like veteran service, senior services, HHS, transit, just anybody that we're housed around to be in one spot. Because we do work with a lot of the same clientele and we're back and forth. So that was an idea that they had also. That's all I have.
Anything else, anything?
These items I've pretty well covered already. But since I do have them written out, I'll look forward them just as a suggestion. First is to change the rooms to make comfortable for one or two persons for assisted living housing. Keep some rooms for acute care. Make the kitchen available for senior dinners along with assisted living patrons. Make room for a daytime lounge for the elderly, along with daycare for older people that cannot stay alone during the day. Have an area for family gathering for receptions and birthdays. Have county offices in the building that do not have adequate space now. The emergency heating and electric as well as the kitchen are already in place unless they have been taken out. The building has a ramp for wheelchairs and is easily accessible for elderly. And as far as the advertising, it should be in major newspapers all over this area.
Anyone else have any more comment on that particular subject? So I don't want to make it go in business up Judy.
Well, I would just like to see county offices that are off-site moved into that building. that would, then that would leave room in the theater so that they could make that into dressing rooms, and that would solve that problem. So that's my suggestion.
Anybody else have any ideas they want to put forward?
I just might say that I think we all know that that Fillmore County Senior Services, Fillmore County Transit, and the Senior Center are in dire need of a new facility. And, you know, they've put up with really poor offices and location for a long time. And I think it needs to be addressed. I think we should look at this as a really good opportunity. Maybe we have a building that's landscaped, that has a parking lot that we need and walls, that we should take advantage of that and not try to get rid of it and then still be stuck with needing something for our own office space that is needed desperately.
I just want to make a quick comment on senior services. I like the fact that our offices are located where the senior center is at, because I think as far as the people that we serve, it's very convenient for them to come in, have lunch if they need to see us. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. So I really appreciate that. But what I'm most concerned about with our current location is just our accessibility. You know, people have to go down those 5 steps, which we've had 2 people in 2 days that we've had to go up and meet with them in the senior center, which we're able to do, but then that brings open then confidentiality issues if we're talking about finances, personal stuff, you know, that other people are open, that they could be listening to. So I guess that's my biggest concern as far as our current location, is just we're not really accessible to our aging population.
I'd just like to speak on behalf of the Wellness Center. We have some committee members here today that were interested in this hearing. And as many of you know, we have been up and going in that facility since March. The county board was very generous and willing to work with us to let us stay there and rent that space. And it's been going really well. And I just kind of see this fitting in, you know, all of these ideas fitting in with the Wellness Center still being there. It's a great facility and a great location for it. We really like the idea of turning the whole thing into a community-type center involving the seniors in the county and the youth. The Wellness Center has been utilized by people in Geneva, but all over Fillmore County too. Even people outside of Fillmore County, we have members of the Wellness Center. So a lot of the people here at the hearing today that are involved with the Senior Center also use it. So I guess we are really happy there. Things are going well there with all of these ideas. We just hope that we can continue to have the Wellness Center located at that facility too.
Anyone else have anything? Or con, whatever they say?
Are you jumping in?
I just kind of wanted to stand up and say, too, I am involved in a number of these groups that are here today talking, and I just first would like to say thank you for having, as supervisors, having the vision to look forward and to provide that hospital and to give the go for that vote to even happen. I would like to say I listened to a lot of the ideas, and I truly believe that the overwhelming problem that we have with having nothing in that facility right now is because a lot of the services we're talking about aren't services that the county provides. I think it's a little, you know, I live in Geneva now, but I couldn't imagine being from Exeter and hearing that they're going to put the Geneva Senior Center in the Fillmore County Hospital. I understand that. I think that we're asking our supervisors to do something that they really can't do. That being said, it's also very frustrating to know that there's what appears to be, I think, from where we stand, a lot of us stand, an unwillingness to work together. And I don't know that that necessarily comes from this board. I think it puts a lot on you guys to say, hey, you need to sink a bunch of money into this old hospital so then the city can just buy it from you. I don't think that's right either. So I would just like to encourage, I don't know how you're going to do it, whether it's a task force, whether it's 2 or 3 supervisors, 2 or 3 city councilmen in Geneva, or how you're gonna make it work. But I don't think that rehabbing the hospital and figuring out all these costs that are gonna primarily benefit Geneva is an expense that should be solely borne by the county either. I think the senior center there is a fantastic idea. I think the sheer fact that there's off-site parking is, and off the street there is thrilling to me. But I think at the same time that there just needs to be a little bit more collaboration. And a lot of these ideas that I'm hearing, I just want to say, just copy that letter and send it to your city council member as well. And maybe we can do something to spur a little bit of action.
Kristen, do you have any ideas of how it could be handled?
How it could be done? And that's the difficult part. I mean, how do you figure out funding? I don't know whether you figure out funding based on the allocation of the space that's used. You know, if 60% of the space is utilized by city services, then maybe the city covers 60% of the cost and 60% of the upkeep. Well, the county covers 40%, and 40% of the space is being used by county services. I think that, you know, there's some differences there. There's lots of options. And I don't think that it's financially, it's expensive, but I don't think it's expensive as we would anticipate.
Anyone else?
I'm just here on behalf of the Geneva Youth Center, and we are in favor of the move. We would love to be part of the Generations community. Our facilities that the kids use now is it's not a good place to be. We have a lot of activities for them to do. I think the move would be positive, so we're in favor of it, and letting the community use all of our equipment and things like that. So I just wanted to say that.
I'm Eleanor Rodney, and I don't know if a lot of the board knows, but I provide a service at the senior center. I do foot care there twice a month. I do it in Rhonda's office. She's good enough to leave her office and work someplace else during that time. I serve an aging population. I volunteer my work. They give a small donation to the senior center. So there's no money for me to rent any place to do this. But the stairs are problematic. Got people that have hip surgery, they've had knee surgery, they simply are so arthritic they can't get down the stairs. But yet, because the service is needed, we get them down there when they have to come. I think that I'm probably not the only place that we could have other health service items if there were room to do it. Thank you.
I'm Ernest Pence, Milligan, Nebraska. I'm a member of the Nebraska Commission on Aging. And the big wolf at the door, as you people, as members of the board that you're on, is of course finance and long-term finance. The only thing I would say to everyone here is somebody's going to have to take a look. What's it going to take to bring the existing Fillmore County, the old hospital, up to a point to where it can be utilized by all the people that want to utilize it? Where does the money come from? Are they going to fund part of it? Do they expect the taxpayers, or they do have some benevolence financing from someplace else? But it's good, you're going to have to look at it. What's it going to cost to bring it up where we can utilize it for what everyone wants to utilize it for, all the interested entities. And then, okay, that's what it's going to cost here. What's it going to cost to maintain the existing facility that has all of the existing issues, has accessibility, parking, and all these other things? You're going to have to do a cost factor here, cost factor here, do a comparison and say, long term, which one's going to be the best for the county? And I'm sure you people are thinking in that direction. But I just wanted people that are not aware of that end of the spectrum, that they think about this also.
And my, my concern is when we took over the senior center where it is now and made it into a senior center, it was not supposed to be forever. And it seems like we've been there forever. It's been a wonderful place, and it's worn out because no one wants to put any money into the senior center. We haven't had any cosmetics done forever. And you know, with your home, if you don't do anything, it runs down. I'm concerned with doing food service there because the foundation is cracked. We have varmints getting in, we have mice nests in our storeroom, we have ants all over, and it's getting terribly hard for me to think that it's a safe place to be preparing meals. I think it's a comfortable place for our seniors, existing seniors that are there now. They like it, they've always had this senior center. But if we don't move somewhere, we're going to have to put some money into the senior center where it's at now to have it safe. And I don't know if that would be money feasible either. So, I mean, there's lots to think about. And like Kristen says, we appreciate you listening to our ideas.
Any other comments? You?
Well, besides finding new uses for it, we also have a truck and surrogate dog, costs a lot of money. We can mothball it, hope that something shows up. So I think mothballing it should be considered, we can't get something done right now. And I think before we tear it down, we should figure out how much that's going to cost, because those are two other alternatives. I think we need to check in how big those alternatives are.
Else? Don't be bashful, we want to, here's everybody's ideas. We want to see if anybody got some good business ideas on that or how to handle it.
I will.
Bill?
Yeah, it's going. Some of the things too, the county offices, I think, ought to be put in there first, and use up that space. You're paying $3,000 a month for a county attorney, and you got Eric's office, 500, 600. You got the Nebraska Extension office, that's another 500 or 600. Then you get more offices coming up. Let's say you're paying out $50,000 a year, why not put that in remodeling that to start with in that hospital? You got an engineering company here, you got Andrews Electric, Shell. They can split that hospital off into different divisions without having much else. But I'm saying you can pay them $1,000, if you do it, pay how to split that off. The south and the west sections are already, I think, split off. So the other people, then you can start breaking it down to smaller sections. Use this section, but I think the county I use what they got first, then what's left, and let the rest of the people have a shot at it. So.
Thank you. Someone else want to make a comment out there?
I'll make a comment. You know, this has been a subject in the county board about every meeting or every other meeting, and I know that we got a lot of them to do. One of the big issues, and I'm glad that you spoke up there, because is the money situation. Where are we going to get it? How are we going to do it? How are we going to be fair? Because even though it's a county hospital, and we do stuff that's connected to the league, we still have 6 other communities that pay taxes. And so we got to look at it that way, and that's been kind of the thing. That's why we kind of wanted to get this opened up so people can understand what we've done. I know that the city had done a study back in 2010. I think you're connected with it, right? I had to take a look to see if I recognize it. But Chambers has done a study, and there's a lot of people that set in on that study a couple of times. So we've got an idea what can be done with that hospital, more or less. Maybe if we have to do a city-county type thing, maybe we have to do different things. But there has been a study done on it. That study at that time showed approximately $800,000+ to make it a feasible senior center. community center or whatever, we could do a lot of things with it. So, kind of in not defense of the board, but what the board has been talking and what we've done, you know, we've got 4 sections of that thing that can be split out. We've had some interest in the west part of the clinic and fitness center. We've talked, poor Brenda, she's got the worst location in Fillmore County. And we've talked about that in the last few meetings, what we're going to do with them, because we do have to move them, but we don't have to. But we have to because of the accessibility. We can get that taken care of, but we'd like to be able to do it, so we got CQB. One county office, I don't know if it's in the county extension, boy, they beg for Main Street, and I can understand that to a point. But I think what Bill said about changing, trying to put them, we've talked about putting the county offices all, maybe in that south loop, for the old long-term care ones. And then whatever can happen other than. So we have talked about a lot of these things. And I'm glad you guys all came out, got some ideas, give us an idea. Maybe we got to sit down with the city and say, hey guys, we got a facility, do we join forces, do we make it a Fillmore County Senior Center, do we make it a Fillmore County annex, do we make it what? But those are the things, I'm glad you all came because it gives us kind of an idea what you feel, what we feel, and again, I like the idea, we're going to need a lot of help financially from somewhere, whether it's a benefactor or just plain old county taxes. So again, on my part, I want to thank you for showing up. I don't know, it's hospital in my section, well, it's not my section. But, you know, this is what we really need, and the funding will be the big thing, and if we can do it as a county, city thing, or we're not stepping on Chipley, Exeter, Fairmont, that type of thing. I'd love to do it, because I think we got a facility, this is how we use it.
On behalf of the senior center, if they move Fillmore County offices and we stay at the senior center, I would definitely hate to see that happen. I think the more entities that we can get together under one roof, so if you're coming to see Brenda, wanting to have a meal, wanting to see, have a transit ride, if we were all in the same area, I just think it would work so much better. I think it would really hurt our center if we separate. I mean, we've been together for so long. The waitress has to stay together.
Anybody else got any comments?
I was going to say something. Oh, go ahead.
Donna, can the 911 center be put in that hospital?
It's not really feasible to move the 911 center into the hospital. We've had discussions about an emergency operations center going in the basement where the old cardiac rehab was. I've weighed in and put that out there. I'd like to see that. But the 911 center itself needs to stay in the jail. The feasibility to move it, I'd have to do a cost analysis, but it'd be pretty expensive. Plus, the jailers are also dispatchers, and if you move the 911 center, you're going to have to staff 2 separate locations. It would cause a lot more staffing for the sheriff's office to separate them out.
Well, I was going to say, since they're going to build something out at the fairgrounds, you can put your bunker out there at the fairground. They're going to build an addition to the out there. You can put your bunker in there if you need an underground 911 center. But I never thought about 2 staffing locations as being a major problem.
There would be a lot more money to staff 2 separate locations. The emergency operations center fits well in the basement of the hospital because it's already built and you're not having to pour all that new concrete underground. That's part of the reason why I thought of that place at first. But again, I don't know that that's going to be feasible. I'll try to find funding for that as well. But moving the 911 center, it's never been something that I've
approach them about because the cost, first of all, it's not just my cost, it would be the sheriff involved, and he'd have double staffing because he still has to have staffing for the jail when they have inmates.
Yeah, comment. This just has something to do with what Larry was saying, on Skinner's feasibility study, and we have a map here, anybody that wants one, you probably get your copy. Personally, I think it's a perfect situation of what could happen in Geneva. You have county offices in the south wing, like Larry said. The middle part of that hospital would be demolished, made into a little seating, just a nice outdoor area, park, whatever. The parking, they got more parking. They could put a lot more in here, but that could be made into parking also. The senior center would be the hospital, the emergency room, surgical, all that area in the corner, all senior center. Donna's basement is underneath there. That can be used for that instance. And you still have your fitness center and your other buildings for your other part of the hospital for whatever you wanted to do if you had it. So you could probably go in there and do your footwork in there, in one of those rooms. You wouldn't have to bother, Rhonda or anybody else. But if anybody looks at this, I think it would work great, and I think it needs to be a county, city of Geneva, deal. We've got to get together. We both got to do this. The county's not going to pay for it all, and I know the city of Geneva don't want to pay for it all, and they shouldn't. It should be something that we could agree upon, but I think anybody that wants to look at this sure can. I think it would be a good idea to maybe follow this type of a plan. That's just my opinion.
When we're talking about combining, I can remember when I got on the council, we had the water office down by the lumberyard, we had the bacon shop down where Jimmy Nichols is at. We had numerous, the city hall was down at 20. And when Applebee's came up for sale, I know a lot of people maybe didn't like it, but the city could see a little bit in the future, and they purchased that to bring everything under one roof. And it's really worked out well. It's worked out because all the equipment can be there. We've got, I think we're set now where we've got a portable generator. We can run City Hall. If an emergency happens, there's numerous things that have happened. And a lot of neat things have happened since we had some of these town hall meetings. And I've sat in on a lot of them. I mean, the Boys Pond, that was an idea from a town hall meeting. Downtown lighting, numerous good things have happened. Now, actually, until this point, I don't think we've ever sat down as a board, two boards together to try to work out some of this. But I think sometimes we got to forget about, sure, you're going to make a couple people mad in a couple communities possibly, that they think it's going to benefit Geneva. But people also have to remember, they voted, the people in this county voted to have the center, the courthouse in Geneva, Nebraska. So we need to work together. I think as boards, we need to cooperate, and we've got to get over this idea, well, it's only going to benefit Geneva. It's actually benefiting the whole county.
I guess I'm missing a part here because if you put the senior center in the old hospital, or whatever you decide to call it, whether it's a city, we have a transit system. I don't know how that would work, but I know that Eric also has veterans van that they use to run veterans back and forth. What would be wrong with coming up with a plan to have a van go out to the other senior centers 1 day a week, 2 days a week, or whatever, and offering to bring the seniors from the other communities into the larger centers? That's what Fillmore County Transit does. Okay, so if that's what they do, I don't see how that would just simply benefit the city of Geneva and their seniors. It would benefit all the seniors. As long as we can provide transportation.
Another item, I'm from Exeter, so I'm going to smile off. Anyway, my opinion is Exeter spent a lot of money a few years back and built the senior center. If you have your own city senior center, I think Geneva should spend money for a senior center. I'm not saying that the county shouldn't spend money for the other parts, areas, the fitness part and all that kind of thing, but I think you're talking about senior center should be Geneva,
Keep in mind that the Exeter Senior Center gets
gets their meal from the Geneva Senior Center.
I know they do. I know they do. And I'm not saying that, and that's still gonna continue. But, you know, Geneva didn't help pay for Exeter Senior Center. So, you know, it's just fairness, I think. You know, for Fairmont, for Melvin, for Shipley, for everybody, not to have taxes involved to have Geneva at a senior center.
But you know, if we had more space and we could do more, it would be nice to get our centers together.
And it
And
would.
have Exeter.
But Brenda,
Well, I guess, I
Every day.
part of my job is to oversee all the senior centers in the county. So I guess part of me would really hate to see Fairmont or Exeter, because they really are well patronized by their own communities on various levels. So I would hate to see that happen. But we do have, once a month, transit does go over to Milligan and get Milligan seniors, which the county pays for. Yeah, it could come more often, but right now they currently, transit goes and gets them once a month, like to Milligan. And one of the things I would like to see is to see them come more often and get Ohio and Grafton. So I think definitely to use the transit service to bring some of those seniors who maybe don't want to drive, can't drive, and get them to a senior center where they can have that social aspect is a great thing. And I think it makes sense if that would happen, in Geneva. But like I said, I would really hate to see our Exeter and Fairmont's senior center have any kind of combination, because they really have great senior centers that are well patronized. And I think it's important to keep those in their communities too.
Well, you know, with the building the way it is, I don't think the county can probably come up with funds to do the whole thing. You know, to build a senior center, do everything, remodel. Because like Larry said, 800,000-900,000, probably more than that now, we're probably talking over $1 million. You know, we're already talking about a fairly significant improvement at the fairgrounds. So, you know, it's always a matter of money and taxation. You know, we can do everything, but then you won't be very happy with your taxes that you have to pay either. That's the problem. So we try to kind of, mediate things out that everybody's happy. And I still think, I agree that we need to have a little meeting between the county board, probably in the village or the city of Geneva, and kind of discuss what they would be willing to do, what we would be willing to do, and come up with something there.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, it seems like anything that's been done, even when the Geneva Senior Center was built, there are fundraising efforts. I don't know that anyone was even thinking of having the county board fund all of this for the senior center. I think the letter mentioned, we have gotten, I don't even know what's available now, but Peter Kiewit funding was for the Exeter Senior Center. There's maybe community development block grants. I don't think anyone would, I would certainly agree that the county should not have to fund everything, but it just seems like, if we need some direction, and I think that's a wonderful idea to get the city council and the county board together. But I think that there's enough interest in doing something with the Geneva Senior Center, with the county offices, that there could also be enough support, even, individual fundraising, individual donations, all that kind of thing.
I want to speak on behalf of Brenda Sherwin, who is the manager for transit, and she couldn't be here because one of her coworkers had a funeral this week. But the Fillmore County Transit at the present time doesn't even have an office. They have a location in the hallway of where the Geneva Senior Center is. They have no walls. And as we had mentioned earlier, that building gets used for a variety of things. We had jazzercise there for a while, dance class, Zumba, Weight Watchers on Wednesday, church on Sunday. There's family gatherings. So every night the transit has to literally clear off their desk, which for me would be a task, but they do it every night, and they put everything away so that nothing can be tampered with. So So on Brenda's behalf, I would just say that the Fillmore County Transit also needs a location where she actually has an office that has walls where they can be located.
Else have any other comments? Don't be bashful. Don't like the idea, if you like it, whatever.
I would just like to encourage anyone that wants to come and visit the senior center, have a meal down there, and just see what it's like. We are such a, I mean, we're very proud of it, but we've outgrown it and it's wearing out, like all of us.
Well, I think this, a city the size of Geneva should have a little bigger and nicer senior centers than what they have. You know, I mean, our little towns have probably nicer ones than Geneva has, and that shouldn't be, you know.
I really want to make
Just to shed a little light on how the Geneva Senior Center is laid out. I've attended a number of meetings there, and the staff is just phenomenal. They're great people to work with, and members of the board there. But you're sitting out in a hall in the meeting table, holding the staff meetings or Commission on Aging, and people are transiting through while you're over the meeting, because the only place they've got to hold the meeting is in the hall next to the co-driver. So they are operating quite efficiently, very well, with very little resources. Once again, this goes back to the dollars, and hopefully people can find a way to raise some money. And it doesn't, you know, there are a lot of different ways aside from the taxpayer, and you have to, we just all have to search all of those avenues before we decide what's the big burden, how much can we afford.
Albert, I was going to make a comment. I sat in on the meetings with,
Stand up.
after sitting on the meetings the city had with Shivers and Pat here, with Shivers, and she called me and asked me if I wanted to come up. I said, well, just come up and listen. But a couple of things that I kind of snicker about is, you know, we all had wants. And I know in that meeting, we wanted a computer room, we wanted a sewing room, we wanted a craft room, we wanted a jamming site room, we wanted all these rooms. One thing about it, in that one wing of the hospital, I think there's about 6 rooms, or probably not that many, about 5 rooms that would be big enough that we could have all those things go. Am I for or against it? Right now, I'm going to say I'm neutral because I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I should have covered up. No. But anyhow, you know, we do have, and that's why I think we needed this meeting to kind of see what can happen. We took an inventory of all the stuff that was in the hospital here about a week ago, so we haven't got the complete list compiled, but there's a lot of stuff in there that can be used, be had as far as existing, and just move it in there. So there is a lot of pluses to it. The minuses probably are how to go in there and tear down the mat. And I know we do have someone here that's already had some experience in looking at that building. So if we wanted to work with someone, we've already have spent some money to keep going. And I know Kyle, I kind of went over and bugged him the other day a little bit, because I wanted him to show up so he'd know what everybody said. And talked to the council council and they showed up. So I think we might have something started. And it's not going to happen tomorrow, and it may not happen in a couple months, but at least we've got an idea what the people want. And we'll make it a county facility in more ways than one. It's going to happen as a county city thing.
That's kind of just, I have a little question with your plan that you have made up with the existing fitness center, the senior center, and the county departments being there. What's left? And how much room would there be for other?
Well, basically what the county needs would probably take the whole south wing, you know, with offices. The senior center, I'll show you the map.
And you talked about tearing down things.
You want to do a tear down like this, right here.
Okay.
That would be the old senior center. This would be the existing existing hospital and building. Connect them. And then you're building down there with the state county
What's the condition?
Can you repeat this question?
The heating and air conditioning. There's part of it is still on the old boiler, and in my, and Pat can probably tell you a little more I can, but talking to Marty, there's a lot of that they've shut down, the old existing boiler that went to some of the rooms and that, they put in individual units. And Marty felt this, and that this was his opinion was that you could go in there and probably eliminate the boiler and then put in units to fit each area that you might have in there. The rest of it is basically in really good shape.
How much is still owed on the old hospital?
That, we have nothing on that.
What's left is what's left there?
No, what's owed on it.
Tax
Owed on it was, nothing, is it?
I think that was all combined into the present. I don't have anything. I think that was put into the present ones.
See, Darrell, that's one of our biggest problems, or it's my thought. This is my opinion. To tell you, we hopefully if that thing works. And if the thing doesn't work, talking about the new hospital, we're gonna have a big problem on our hands. That's basically, if we knew what that was gonna do, we'd probably know what to do with all the rest of the stuff that everybody wants.
Albert? Yeah, one thing you gotta keep in mind too, if we don't sell this thing, it's still expensive. And if we go in and demolish it, you know, that's an expensive project too. So we have to really work out some problems here. We say, well, just give it to us, so I'll just give it to you. Well, that's not gonna work either, because we have an ironclad contract that you're gonna keep it up and, or tear it down and completely demolish and get it out of there, because wreckage is expensive too. That's one side of the story too.
In other words, we got a big problem inside what to do. If we salvage a thing like Jerry says, we're gonna have to write big contracts so it's all cleaned up. It's not gonna be cheap. And if you keep the thing, that's not gonna be cheap. And I guess probably a lot of you folks are volunteers. Okay, Fillmore County could not do anything without volunteers. We've had a lot of them, and I'd like to thank everybody that was one. Anybody else got anything else they want to build?
Yeah, how much of that old original hospital has fiberglass in it, or asbestos, that if you touch it, you're gonna have a major problem? Or can you use it with all the fiberglass, or asbestos that's in it?
There's, I think in the old, and again, I don't know, I'm just going from what I hear, but I think that where the old patients is the main problem.
In the old part?
No, the blue part there.
This here or here?
That blue part.
So this is where the asbestos is right in this here?
That's what I heard.
There's nothing in the old original hospital being built that many years ago?
Well, I think they've remodeled it a couple of times, it's probably been taken care of. I'm Bill, I'm just.
Okay, I'm just asking, because that's a major problem, get rid of anything that has asbestos in it.
I just wanted to 6 years ago, I took down a small house. There are EPA issues here, and there are only 3 dump sites in the state of Nebraska that are licensed for a home. I don't know how it is from an industrial facility or a hospital complex. Small homes 6 years ago cost me $12,000 to get taken down and hauled to an authorized dump. And I just pass this off to you people so you understand the magnitude of what this gentleman's talking about.
Well, I think there's some parts of the hospital real sellable, and there's some that's probably not.
Yeah.
And so that's where you run into the snag.
And where you were coming from as to how much it could cost if you went that route.
Anybody else got any comments? Don't be bashful. You want to have any more comments? No more comments?
Speak now.
Remember, got anything else you want to ask for?
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Everybody's happy or unhappy, I guess, so.